Today I'm going to show you how the Canon EOS M50 competes against the HUAWEI P30 Pro. Go! So here we are with the first picture. Left side it's the Canon EOS M50 and on the right side it's the P30 Pro. So let's battle and see what's coming out of it. Well, the first thing what I see as I look at this picture is that I think this is too overexposed, if you will. This is taken with the Aperture Mode and then use the aperture of 1.2. Like the bokeh, the separation is done okay this time, even if I zoom in. Sure, you see some soft edges here, but overall it's okay. If you compare the details, I think it looks okay if you check both, but clearly if you zoom more in, you can see that the APS-C sensor gets more data or details, if you will. So, but moving on to the next picture. In the next picture, I did a flower shot, so with a bokeh background, if you will. And you see that the Canon did a nice job separating this subject with the background. I mimicked it again with the aperture mode using an 0.9, and I think it's sharp. I think the colors are okay. I think that the separation is nice, except if you watch those, yeah, whatever you're gonna call them, they are totally removed from this picture, and as you can see here also. So in this case, the aperture mode doesn't do the trick for me. So I also shot one with the regular main camera, 1.6. Then you see, yes, we got the, I don't know how those things call, but we got it back in. Anyway. But if you compare that to this, yeah, it's so much sharper. So not so. Yeah, this is a win for the Canon, clearly. So if we now go to another picture, this is really as close by. I think he will. The P30 Pro picks up a lot of details, but yeah, although it's ISO 50, I think it's a very noisy picture. Even if I move this one or resize this one to a larger size, I still think this looks nicer and has more details. Okay, so moving on to the next one. So if you want to have some learning Dutch, meanwhile. So if you look at the picture right away, you think, well, there's more or less the same. But if you zoom into this pole here, you can still see the details, and those details are totally gone here. And this is just the 5x optical zoom, and well, you see clearly, you see the difference here, and also this is so much sharper if you compare that to this corner here. So yeah, the zoom isn't that great on this if you compare that clear win for the Canon. And this is the other one was the 10x, the hybrid zoom, by the way, and this is the regular 5x optical zoom. So I try to mimic that on the Canon. If you're now gonna take a look again at the details of this pole, and let's do it here also, then you can clearly see not so well. Although it's less of a big difference, but here you can see much more structure, as here is just very soft. So okay, moving on to the next pictures of from swans. First of all, this is also zoomed in 5x. I think that the green is really popping, but not to my liking. But what's really striking, if you look at this swan, if you look at these details that you get here, and if you look at here, sure you can make out it's a swan, but it's such a difference if you look at the Canon compared to the P30 Pro. So definitely a win for the Canon here also. So if we now move on to the next picture, well, this is more or less the same, but from a 5x zoom point of view. Again, yeah, I don't like that green, because this was more the real situation, what I was seeing, and this is definitely not what I'm seeing. Sure, in post you can change those colors if you like, but and if you look at the stones, if you zoom in and you compare that to the stones that you see here, you get so much more detail in the stones. Okay, that's not strange, of course, due to the size of the sensor, but just want to show you. Another thing that the P30 Pro did better is HDR, because I took this picture and here you can definitely see clouds, whereas here you see it a bit, so I had to focus with the Canon on it, and then I get more or less the same result. But out of the box, the P30 Pro did a better job in the dynamic range in this case. But if you again zoom in, for instance, to this nice sheep eating some grass, yeah, I think it will be apparent what's happening. You got details here, you don't get details there. Clear. Okay, so moving on to the next picture. And that's a shot of a tree with some cows in the background. Although you think that, well, the details are more or less the same if you look now. If you zoom in, probably you will see the same thing happening. I also did a shot with the Aperture Mode. And this is also with Aperture Mode with an 0.95 aperture, but still I didn't get that nice bouquet that I got with the Canon. And I tried it twice, and this happened the second time. As you can see, he was totally off with this picture. So this is a better picture if you compare it. I did it twice here, and the Canon, yeah, much more pleasing to the eye. The last picture that I'm gonna show you is a picture of a tree zoomed in. Again, yeah, the bokeh effect, much better, much nicer on the Canon. But if you now zoom in, for instance, to this part, and by the way, I shot this on the P30 Pro using the 40 megapixels to get the best picture quality it can be, and still, although it is not too bad, but if you compare it to the details that the Canon produces, yeah, I must say the P30 Pro, but it's a phone, but yeah, loses that battle clearly.